in college. I'd hear about people who are leading NGOs or doing good work, and then suddenly they made a mistake, or they make a mistake, or they say something wrong, and suddenly I'm super disillusioned and will just throw every good thing that they did out the window and into the trash bin because I expected them to know better and to do better. But to be honest, we're all people and we're all figuring things out. You are listening to In Good Company, a podcast that explores the lives, businesses, careers, and advocacies of people who want to create positive impact in the world.
If you're someone who's looking for inspiration, positive stories, how-tos, and opportunities to start a business or pursue a career with meaning and purpose, this podcast is for you.
And we won't just be talking about the good and inspiring stuff.
We'll be talking about the real stuff, which means that we'll get into the gritty, grimy, and yes, juicy details about trying to do good in a world where doing good is still a bit of an afterthought.
This podcast is designed to share inspiring stories, but at the same time encourage anyone. But while doing good in a big way is challenging, it is possible, and there are concrete and actionable steps to do so.
So, if you want to do good, you're in good company.
I'm Reese Fernandez-Ruiz, co-founder and president of Rags to Riches.
And I'm Tom Graham, author of the book The Genius of the Poor and co-founder of the social tourism enterprise Make a Difference Travel.
And
this is In Good Company.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Reese. How are you doing?
Good. So, because I'm feeling good today, we're going to talk about something that's sad. No, I'm kidding.
Never be too happy.
Yeah, you can never be too happy. No, you can be. But I think now is just a good time to talk about the top 5 myths about doing good.
Right.
I think this is quite important because when you know the pitfalls, you kind of manage your expectations and you end up doing more good as a result. Because sometimes you get too disappointed because you have all these expectations about, doing good should be this or that.
Yeah, it's going to be a panacea, magic wand
to
improve everything in my life.
Exactly. So, if you know the pitfalls, then you could watch out for them.
Sure. All right. Well, you far away with the first one, Reese.
Yes, because I feel so strongly about this. So number 1 is that it feels good all the time. Do you think it feels good all the time, like doing good feels good all the time, Tom?
Well, it's supposed to, right? This fluffy world of social entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
doing
rainbows
good.
and butterflies.
Wow, it gives you so much fulfillment. But it's not always like that, right, Reese?
No, it's not.
What are your experiences?
Yeah, a lot. But we don't have a lot of time, so I won't go into every single thing. But I think if doing good, like your motivation for doing good is to feel good, then you probably eventually won't do good anymore because it doesn't always feel good, There will be difficulties. There will be times when you question yourself, why am I still here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And suddenly it ceases to be a feel-good experience.
Right,
Are you going to quit just because of that? Yeah, so for some people, maybe for some who probably expected that it will always feel fluffy inside. First sign of disappointment, the first thing that really shakes you off your core is probably going to make you quit. So it is definitely a myth.
What kept you going?
Number 1. Yeah, so what kept me going is a stable why, a purpose about why I'm doing what I'm doing, and just really remembering that, going back to it, writing it down somewhere, putting it as your wallpaper, every single thing you can do so that you're always reminded, because your emotions wouldn't always follow that.
Yeah.
But if you believe it to your core, if it's something that you have faith on, it will make all the difference. When it ceases to become this fluffy, happy feeling, I want to wake up every Monday morning happy feeling in the world. So, number 1 myth busted.
All right. Well, I am now going to try and crack myth number 2, which I believe goes something like this. Doing good means doing charity, and doing charity generally means doing something because you should do it, but not necessarily because you're any good at it.
What?
Yeah. So let me give you a little example. So when I did charity work, when I first arrived in this country or where I lived in Africa and other countries before, I associated it with, for example, entertaining kids in an orphanage or possibly fundraising or building houses, right? And I can tell you that I am not particularly rich, so I can't do much fundraising myself. And I'm also the world's worst construction worker. I'm really useless at it. So I've been trying to build houses. I've even tried to build some Gaud-Kalinga houses. And
how are they doing now?
well, I don't really know. I'm kind of worried to go back.
Oh no, okay.
And actually, it was a really great experience. So I don't want to discourage people from doing that at all. It was a wonderful experience for a short period of time. And yet, I think in the longer term, I've realized that I'm not going to become a nation builder in the sense of building homes, in that very literal sense of making a difference. But rather, I've realized that there's so many different ways in which you can impact the lives of others in a positive way, which merge better with your skills, your passions, and something that you're really good at, and something you want to share with the world. And whether that be that you're a brilliant musician and you want to share your passion for music with a community, whether it be that you're a brilliant or businessman or potentially brilliant businessman, you love that sense of being an entrepreneur, whether you're great at marketing and maybe you don't want to start a social enterprise for yourself, but you want to help someone else who really needs help. So another social enterprise that needs help in their marketing, in the marketing of their products. There's so many opportunities to share your passion, your skills with others to make the world gradually a better place. So I think that is myth number 2, that it really doesn't have to be something that you're doing just to sort of sacrifice your time or to do something to make yourself feel better, but you're not, deep down you're not very good at it. You can actually share your talent, your passion, your skills with others, and it can be so much fun in the process.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
Did you want to add anything there?
Actually, I want to add the next one because I think...
right. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, I think when you are engaged so much in what you're doing, you're doing good, whether in a community as a volunteer, and you're doing what you do best, sometimes it's hard to get into the trap of our third myth.
Right.
Which
nice
is,
link.
I know. I just thought about it now. People should thank me because I'm such an awesome human being. It's the third myth. It's not something I'm saying right now. So, it's a misconception as well, and it's a myth that people will thank you. In Rags to Riches, when we were starting, I have to admit that in the beginning, when we were doing something good and we were going to the communities, I did expect that people will say, oh my gosh, you're so good, you're so awesome,
you guys should be grateful, I'm giving up my time
for you.
for you.
Yeah. But it doesn't really happen that way.
Yeah.
When you go to communities, to be honest, they don't owe you anything. That's what I realized the hard way because of the entitlement of the giver. That's what I want to call it, Because you give something, you're kind of feeling entitled that people should thank you for it or think you're great. But to be honest, you are doing a service. And it's not just for the community, it's for yourself and for the bigger world which you live in. So, you do it because it needed to be done. Mm-hmm. So, for me, that is a huge misconception. If that is one of the main motivations for you to do good, you will not do good in a few months. Because, a lot of challenges will happen. In our communities, when we were starting, we had a lot of discussions. We would go to the communities, talk to our artisans. We would fight with each other, argue with each other. And in the end, it got us to a better place. So imagine if we didn't entertain that argument and just said, you should just listen to me because I know better. Yeah. Or you should thank me. I'm helping you. Yeah. I'm helping you and you're questioning me. So imagine if we said all of those things in the beginning. We wouldn't be here today. Yeah. We wouldn't build the trust that we have built.
Yeah.
So third
it's
misconception.
Really, going into it with a humble heart.
Yeah. Right? And a willingness to unlearn.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things that you will unlearn. You have to.
Yeah.
Not everything you learned is valuable everywhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to myth number 4. I can't do good from where I am. I need to quit my job and start a social enterprise or join an NGO, but I don't have time to do that. I don't have
money.
Exactly. Now this is a myth. I think this idea that you have to jump full time into pursuing your life purpose, even if this has major consequences for who knows your life situation, your family at the time. Everybody's in a different situation.
Exactly.
Some people have savings. Some people are in that moment in their life where they feel, you know what, I am going to bite the bullet and I'm going to quit this or that because it's not me and I'm going to start my own social enterprise. And it all sounds very romantic. And it works for some people and good luck to them. But I just feel there's so many opportunities to get involved in social enterprise or to start doing good little by little. Become a weekend entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So set up something and do it with friends. Just set aside a certain amount of time each week, but you don't have to quit anything. You don't have to do anything too radical at the beginning. Then, of course, if your idea starts to fly, then maybe you make that decision 6 months down the line to actually take it more seriously and to really quit your job or quit what you're doing and change your life direction.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you don't even need to start something yourself, because there are lots of people who have been starting enterprises, they're very passionate about cause that they want to pursue through an NGO or whatever. And these people need help as well.
Exactly.
So if your passion is marketing or accounting, or you're a great networker, whatever it is, there's a very good chance that there's someone out there who would really value those skills on a part-time basis.
Yeah.
So that's myth number 4. You don't need to immediately make some crazily radical decision if that's not where you are in your life at that particular time.
And I would add on to that as well, because I think you can do good while you are at work. And I don't just mean taking off from work, because, a lot of social enterprises, a lot of communities really need to be included in bigger supply chains. And if you're a big company and you make some decisions, no matter how small, what if you can include social enterprises into your consideration set? Yeah. Like your sourcing, your corporate giveaways, your corporate outings, your HR activities. What if you think outside the usual resort or usual purchases from bigger manufacturers, and think about smaller social enterprises, communities who can benefit a lot from the resources that you can redirect to them, because you actually have those resources and you have the decision-making power to make a difference in a big way, in a supply chain, inclusive supply chain way.
I'm just thinking of your story, Reese. So you've been 10 years with Rags to Riches to have the social impact that you've had today. Just imagine if you worked on the inside in a big corporation and you made one very small change, you could have a comparable social impact potentially almost immediately, right? Just because of the influence of those organizations. So I think there's even a word, social intrapreneurship.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Okay.
And the next one, it's also very close to my heart. Number 5. Myth number 5 is people who do good are perfect.
You're not perfect, Reese?
Sometimes I think I am. No. And it's a misconception that I had as well when we were starting, or before we started, when I was still in college. I'd hear about people who are leading NGOs or doing good work, and then suddenly they made a mistake, or they make a mistake, or they say something wrong, and suddenly I'm super disillusioned and will just throw every good thing that they did out the window and into the trash bin, because I expected them to know better and to do better. But to be honest, we're all people and we're all figuring things out. I thought that this myth was an important one to bust, because you can't expect people to be perfect. People will make mistakes. Organizations will make mistakes. So if you're like a big fan of this organization and then suddenly they make a mistake, suddenly there's an accounting error somewhere, or even some form of corruption, and you discount everything that they've done because of those things, and you don't forgive them for it, I think it will make it harder for good people to bounce back. Yeah. Because good people make mistakes.
Yeah. I actually really, this particular one really resonates with me as well, because I wrote the subtitle of my book, The Genius of Poor. It's an Englishman's life-changing journey in the Philippines, right? And sometimes when I'm speaking at events or I'm talking about the book, I realize I'm just the same person. In many ways, I'm the same person as I was before, right? I still have the same flaws in my character. I still get frustrated by the same aspects of my character still frustrate me that did before. And I'm certainly not perfect, or even slightly close to it, of course. And so, yes, I've had a life-changing journey in this country, I think because I have a greater purpose to my life than I used to. But it's not like just becoming a social entrepreneur has meant that I've suddenly become this ideal person or a role model for everyone. I mean, it's still the same person with all of my own sort of flaws that I have to come to terms with. I mean, I'm not a bad guy, but
no way, yeah.
but yeah, it is that, isn't it? I mean, I think social enterprise is a way of, it's a vehicle that we can use as individuals towards living a life of greater purpose and becoming better people gradually. But it's not, there's no sort of overnight change or solution which happens. Let's be realistic.
Yeah, even with ourselves. I mean, we can't even change ourselves completely overnight, let alone the social problem that we're trying to fix. So I think that's just a good thing to always keep in mind when it comes to our co-social entrepreneurs or people we look up to in general, that they are people and they are works in progress, just like us.
Exactly. All right.
Great. So there you have it. Those are the 5 myths about doing good, and I hope that when you know more about them, you can avoid them or disprove them yourself.
Exactly. Don't make the same mistakes that we did.
No, don't. Don't take 5 years, 10 years, 2 years to get there. So, top 5 myths: that it feels good all the time. It doesn't. All the time. Number 2, doing good means doing charity, and charity means doing something even if you're not really good at it.
Number 3, people should thank me because I'm such an awesome human being.
Number 4, I can't do good from where I am. I need to quit my job and start a social enterprise or join an NGO or volunteer for something full time.
And finally, people who do good are perfect. Now, that is most definitely a myth as well.
Yep, so in doing good, there is only progress, not perfection.
See you guys. Thanks for listening. You spent a good few minutes of your life listening to us, and we would love to hear from you too. We're always looking for inspiring stories of people who are doing good from wherever they are. So we'd love it if you could share these stories with us. Send us a message through Facebook or Instagram. You can find us by searching for In Good Company Podcast on Facebook or at In Good Company PH on Instagram. This podcast is brought to you by Mad Travel, Rags to Riches, and Things That Matter. Hosted by me, Tom Graham, and Reese Fernandez-Ruiz. This podcast is edited by our awesome intern Alimi Pagulayan, with research and marketing done by Romano Santos. And let's not forget the music, which comes from Kevin McLeod. And finally, this podcast would not be possible without you, our listeners and advocates. We really are in good company with you. Until next time.